The other day, as I casually woke up, splashed some water on my face. Ugh, why do people do that? I quickly realized that I had only 1 month until our annual golf trip. Last year, I was haunted by inconsistent swings and unpredictable shots, so I knew that the only way to save myself was the World Wide Web. The article was quick to point out that there was no way to avoid putting in work, and the main benefit that I gleaned was the ability to build a repeatable motion. It even stated that I could do it in front of a TV. Nope! Day 1 and 2, I quickly did what most Americans do with their New Year's resolutions, and failed, but I did build a cool sidewalk. Day 3 was my first day of completing 100 swings, and I quickly noticed how I had a lot to work on. My setup wasn't always the swing, my swing path was erratic, and my follow-through definitely leaves a lot to be desired. But now isn't the time to quit or whine, now is the time to press on, and press on I did. Through the darkness, through the rain, through the cold, until on day 12 I realized I could fully swing my club indoors. Okay. All further training will take place in my basement where it is warm, as opposed to outside where I was freezing. On day 15, my swing actually began to feel pretty loose and much more natural. I also noticed that it was becoming easier to follow all the way through. Now let's cue a really cool montage of me swinging that is going to take entirely too long to film and edit.
I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time.
On day 20, I realized I had put in 1,800 swings and was 2/3 of the way to my goal. Checks out. Day 20 to 29 were really busy. I'm not entirely sure I would have made it, except that I knew for this experiment to work, I couldn't skip anymore. I think that overall that's something to take away. Even though I had a ton of extra stuff going on at work and at home, because getting in the practice was a priority, I always made time for it. I think that often we set goals with numbers attached, and then when we miss a day or two, which seemingly puts our goals out of reach, we just give up. I could have easily quit, or lied, and just not filmed this video after missing the first 2 days. But I didn't, and I think I'm better for that. Day 30, I decided to go to the driving range and actually hit balls to see if all my shadow swinging paid off. And here are the results of that. And we're just going to start off with dispersion. As you can see, most of the shots go down the middle or to the right, and then I have a couple of shots that trail off over to the left. Now, while I don't have any hardcore data or pictures from before I started this experiment, which I wish I did, I know that most of my shots were pulled to the left as opposed to pulled to the right. I think this has to do with me opening up my hips a lot more, squaring the club face much more than it was, because I was getting dramatic hooks, dramatic pulls to the left as opposed to this fade to the right that I'm now getting. And so what that says to me is I just got to get my hands out in front of the club, release them a little bit quicker, and then I'll be hitting straight down the middle. Let's go ahead and get into the distances. I broke this down into shots of 5. The first 5 shots were only an average carry distance of 127. I just went out and hit these 20 shots. I didn't warm up beforehand. The next 5 shots were much better. They averaged 158 carry distance, although ideally I'd like to be up in that 170 range. The next 5 shots were my best grouping yet, so shots 11 through 15 averaged 169 yards, which is right where I want to be at. The 4th and final grouping, I averaged 161, so we drop back down there. Overall average carry distances for all 20 shots was 145. If we eliminate the first 5 shots, I ended up averaging 158 yards, and if we only take the last 10 shots, I averaged 165 yards. The goal, of course, is to end up closer to the last 10 than the first 10 shots, and I think through just consistent practice I can achieve this. Now I'm able to launch the ball higher and more consistently and get that nice flight straight down the center of the fairway. Overall, I feel that this experiment was a success and worth my time. The real question, of course, is will this pay off on the course? So to answer that question, I gathered up all the boys and decided to go on a good old-fashioned golf trip. You can go ahead and watch that video right over here. It should be a really good time.